Alright YouTube, this is a quick recipe. This is a tenderloin, a smoked tenderloin recipe. I think you'll like it. Check it out for me. If you like it, like, favorite, share, do all that good stuff. It helps with the views. Peace. Alright, we're going to cook a tenderloin today. And first thing we're going to do is start out with this piece of meat. I've not done anything to it, but let it sit out for close to an hour. I want it to cool off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim it. So you see you got a bunch of fat on here that you're going to want to get off. Go through. Just start pulling this fat and trimming it off of here. You're going to leave some, but you want to get most of it off. Leave some of it for the flavor. Alright. I'm not going to show you as I go through all this. It takes a little while. But you can see it's easy. You just pull it. Get you a nice sharp knife. Fat somewhere that you see just pull off. The reason I did show you this part is because I want to show you what you got to do besides this fat. And this is what's really important. I don't know if this is, hopefully you'll catch this on this film, but I'm going to pick it up and show you a little bit closer. If you see this little portion right here, this is called the silver skin. It runs from the back of the tenderloin all the way up to a little more than half of the way. And you see it's actually got a silver tint to it. That's why it's called the silver skin. You've got to get that off. Even if you want to leave all the fat on yours, you got to get the silver skin off. And the reason you got to get it off is because it's very tough, but more importantly, it does not break down during cooking. So it's not like you can say, hey, it's tough, but I'm going to cook it, and by the time I finish cooking it, it'll be tender. The silver skin will not break down. It will be tough when it goes in the oven, or whatever, however you're going to cook it. It'll be equally tough when it comes out. So you got to get it off. So what you're going to do, get you a sharp knife. You're going to get up under it. You see I'm kind of pulling it back. At the same time, I'm just edging with my knife. Alright, and you're going to do it. I can do this in, maybe 3 strips, maybe down the middle, and then to get the sides. Might take 4. But you see that? You see that? And you can do it without capturing too much meat. It's not too much meat captured on that. But that's that silver skin. This stuff is no good. You don't want this on your meat when you cook it at all. So you gotta make sure you get that off. And you can see here underneath, that's just a beautiful rather piece of meat. And we're gonna get it off on this side. We're gonna get it off on this side, and then I'll get back to you when we're ready to do a little bit more in terms of preparing this. Okay. You see, I got it done. I got it trimmed up, and look at that. That is one beautiful piece of beef. Look at that. All the silver skin's gone, most of the fat's gone. I like to leave my fat that I'm going to use for flavor, I like to leave it on the back side. So I need a nice coating of fat on the back side of that piece of meat that'll cook off and give me flavor. So that's what I got. Give me 1 second because I see my grill is on fire. Let me put this fire out and we'll get right back to you. And we're going to work on getting this thing seasoned up. Okay, for our seasonings, this is what we're going to be using. For our dry seasoning, I've got a combination of a couple of things in here. There's 1/2 a tablespoon of black pepper in here. There's a tablespoon of salt in here, and it's kosher salt. There's a tablespoon of all-purpose seasoning, and there's a 1/2 a tablespoon of cumin. That's going to be your dry seasonings. And then for your wet seasonings, I've got equal parts, and you can just do equal parts. In this case, I did 2 tablespoons of each, but it's equal parts. Olive oil, I used the basting oil, same difference. Worcestershire sauce, and a garlic butter, a garlic butter finishing butter. And it's technically a finishing butter, but you can use it, incorporate it at the beginning of the recipes. I do it all the time. That's good. And you'll see when I put those on how that works out. Okay. Okay, I'm starting with the tenderloin face down. I'm going to get my dry seasonings. Coat it pretty liberally. And just pat it down, rub it in. Alright. We'll get it up in the little crevices. You see that side is well seasoned. Flip it over. this point, you should prepare to have your 3 pieces of kitchen twine ready. Situate those beneath the tenderloin. One in the middle, obviously, one towards each of the ends. Alright. This tenderloin, every tenderloin, has some little ridges in it. There's a long one that runs along the whole side of the tenderloin on one side, and on the other side, towards the back of the tenderloin, there's another one. These can be separated. If I would, like for instance, if I wanted to make this into filet mignon strips, I could cut these off and use them otherwise and make my filet mignons from the edges, and then use the middle for a roast. But I'm going to cook this whole tenderloin just like it is. So this piece of twine in a moment. Let's switch this one with this one up here. I think this one is longer. It should work for the back. Yeah, I guess I could make that work. So because I'm going to cook this whole thing, I didn't remove these, so I still have these ridges. So what I'm going to do with those ridges, well, first let's do this. Let's season this side. Get the seasoning all over it, very liberal. Get it down in those crevices, those ridges. That smells really good, by the way. You can't smell it, I know, but it does, trust me. Now what you're going to do is, in these crevices, these ridges, and I keep calling ridges and crevices, whatever you call it, you're going to stuff down pieces of garlic, cloves of garlic. I've sliced vertically each of these cloves of garlic so they'll release a little bit more of the flavor. Just push those down in there. And do it on this other side also. We got these other ridges over here. Alright, get that in there really good. Garlic makes everything better. And what's interesting about this, by the way, if you watch my other videos, and you can laugh at me about this, I always make the point that I try to find a way in every recipe to incorporate granulated onion and granulated garlic, because those are my 2 favorite ingredients, I think. But this recipe just doesn't call for it. So I didn't do it. I'm sure I could have, but I didn't do it. So applaud me for my discipline, because you know I wanted to. Alright, so you got that, and I don't think you can really see that. My hands are dirty, so I don't want to move the camera, but let me try. Take this glove off, see if I can give you a better look. So you can see how that's, there you go, so you can see a little bit better there, how that garlic is down inside the little ridges, okay? And that's what you want to do. Let me get another glove. Alright, now you're going to tie it off. In all 3 positions. One. 2 and 3. By the way, while I'm doing this, make sure you get you a good piece of meat. Like don't try to save money by getting a select tenderloin. If it's select, it ain't tenderloin. It might be from the same part of the cow, but it ain't tender. It ain't a tenderloin. So I mean, it's, you know, this stuff is expensive. I get these from this place that's a wholesaler. They sell to restaurants. And that's why I buy my stuff from when I get these pieces of meat. And even at the discount prices, I think I paid $12 a pound for this. So it's not cheap, I get that, but you know, it's not worth doing if you're gonna get a cheap piece of meat, because it's, no matter how you cook it, it's just not gonna taste right. That's what it comes down to. You can enhance the flavor of a good ingredient by being a good cook and doing all the right things. But I don't know too many people who can take an ingredient that's garbage and turn it into something worth eating. So, you know, a select piece of meat is a select piece of meat, and I wouldn't spend my money on it. Get you a real piece of meat. Get you an Angus piece of meat, a prawn piece of meat. You know, you can do choice even. Don't do select though. You don't want that. All right. Got your wet ingredients. You're just gonna stir those up. Make sure they mixed up really well. You're gonna make a little boat out of this aluminum foil to cradle your meat in. And then you're just gonna take your wet ingredients and pour it over the tender roast. Make sure you get it all up and down the whole tender roast. Okay. It's not gonna be swimming in it. It's just moisturizing it. The roast is gonna give off some juice while it's roasting. And then you got your scallions. Put you some scallions. You really want that flavor from the scallions. Up and down the roast. Alright. Get it wrapped up. Okay. Get that closed on that end. Looking good right now. Get you another piece of aluminum foil. Get it right from the top. Get it wrapped all the way up. Alright. You want to seal in that flavor. You want to seal in that moisture. Once she starts cooking, she's going to start to bleed a lot of moisture. You want to get that locked in there. There you go. There you go. There you go. Alright, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so that packet you just seen me put together, that's it. It's sitting on the grill. I'm going to close the top of that. I'm going to let this cook for several hours at about 250 degrees, 250. You know, I may let it get up to 275 every now and then. I'm going to maybe keep it around 250, somewhere up in there. That juice is going to start coming out of that fat on the bottom of that tenderloin. It's going to mix with that seasoning I got in there. You're going to see because I'm going to show you when it's ready. All right. All right, so let's take a peek at what we got so far. This has been on here. I really didn't look at the time. I'm going to say it's been close to 3 hours, I believe. And you see what you got right there. It's starting to look good. I'm poking it. My finger. Poking it with my finger. It's very tender on the outside. Peppery. Flavor tastes good. Alright, so we got it out. Let's see what we got. Get the little spring onions out the way. Cut our kitchen twine. Got your garlic in there. Oops. Very tender. Look at that. That's very tender. Look at that. Look at that. Oops. Look at that. It's too hot. I wanted to show you a piece, YouTube, but it's hot. I'll get a fork in a second. But look how easily that slices. Look how tender that is. I'll get that in a second. You could help me with this. Alright, YouTube. I sliced some pieces off. You take a look at this. It's incredible. Look at it. If you can see it. I'm trying to get it positioned right for the camera. That's a beautiful piece of meat. It's hot. It's burning my hands. That's a beautiful piece of meat. Let's take a taste of it. That's good. Really, really good. And the garlic is really good too. So I got some au jus that I made for another dish. I'm going to use that to put these down. I'm roasting some red potatoes with rosemary. It's going to go with this. It's going to be on point. So there you go. Try this recipe. Trust me, you're going to love it. Keep your meat thermometer ready. Depending on what temperature you like it or how you like your food cooked. Make sure you use a meat thermometer. I think I smoked this for maybe 3.5 hours. This is a little bit on the well side of rare. It's not rare. If you want a medium rare, obviously you're going to keep your meat thermometer closer. But I'll tell you something. Ooh, it's hot. Well, so good. Alright? Tenderloin. So flavorful. It's really good. Peace.